Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Ivy Nganga and welcome to this channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a bit different from what we're used to on this channel. I'm going to be doing a review and I'm just going to be giving my thoughts on this new show on Netflix called Love is Blind. If you've not watched the show, the whole idea behind the show is for people to come together, and by people I mean men and women, to come together and form this emotional connection without ever seeing each other. So they date in these small rooms called pods, so they don't even see each other, they just communicate in the different rooms. They form an emotional connection and fall in love, and when this happens, the man is supposed to propose to the woman he falls in love with, and after he does this, then they get to see each other. Once they're engaged and they've seen each other, they're flown to Mexico for a couple's vacation, and the whole idea is for them to form a physical connection. Then after the vacation, they're given apartments to live in as a couple so that they can, I'm assuming the idea is for them to see like how they would live together if they're married. At the beginning of the show, we get to see very many people on the show, both men and women, but in Mexico we only see 6 couples who got engaged, and those are the people I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to start with Carlton and Damond, who I'm pretty sure have been spoken about a lot because of all the drama that went on between them. So we see Carlton and Damond in the pods. Just like all these other couples, they form their emotional connection, and Carlton does propose to Damond. The only thing is that Carlton has this secret that he does not reveal to Damond when they're having the conversations in the pods, but he does reveal the secret to us, the viewers, and he says that he will reveal to Damond the secret once he is ready. So we come to find out that he was ready after they were engaged. So they get to Mexico, and on their first night they're sitting on this table, and first of all, Carlton is acting really weird. He has this hat on that's written daddy, and he begins to ask Damond some really weird questions, some really uncomfortable questions, asking her if she would wear a hat written mommy, asking her if she would, wear a hat that is written do not effing touch. Like, why would you even do that? And she obviously says no. He even said something that was a bit out of line, if you ask me, because he said that out of everyone in the experiment, he had to end up with the craziest person. And to call Damond crazy unprovoked, for me, was really not necessary for him to do. And at this point, we see Damond moving away from him and going to chill by herself by the pool, and Carlton does follow her. And this is where he now reveals his secret to Damond. And the secret is that he has dated both genders in the past. That is both male and female. And Damond is quite surprised, understandably so. And I don't even understand why Carlton began to be so dramatic at this point. He begins to cry and begins to say that he has been abandoned so many times, and that's the reason why, he hid the secret from Damond until after they were engaged. Damond is very supportive of him, if you ask me. She is consoling him, rubbing his back. And we need to remember this comment because he goes back on his word and makes a completely different statement when they revisit this conversation the next day. So Damond decides to go and sleep on it and decides that, they'll have the conversation the next day. Maybe at that point, she will have thought about it, and Carlton will not be acting as dramatic as he is right now. So the next day we see them by the pool again, and Damond is really kind to Carlton. She even hugs him and asks him how he's doing, and they begin the conversation. So Damond begins to communicate her feelings, her general feelings about everything that went down. And this is where I just know that Carlton is not really a good person because of the way he reacted. And he begins to act like Damond is not accepting of him, and she's refusing to accept who she is because he has dated both men and women in the past. So the thing that stood out to me is that he did not even try to convince her that he's not that person anymore, or try to reassure her that she was the main person in his life at that point. He just became very defensive, insulting her, And now it just became a heated exchange, because at this point Damond also has to defend herself, you know. So it became a really ugly conversation, an ugly heated exchange between them. They were insulting each other, and of course at this point we just knew that this relationship was over and they were not going to be together again. So in this conversation by the pool, he does say that it has never been an issue for him and other girls, and it just portrays Damond as being this person who has an issue with who he is, and that was not even the case at all. But now that's not even the problem. Let's revisit his comment the previous night when he said the reason he did not reveal to Damond who he was is because he had been abandoned so many times. So Carlton, which is it? Is it that you are abandoned by the people who you tell this secret because they have an issue with it, or is it really not an issue with all these girls you are talking about? So when he said that, I already knew that he was a liar, and he was just trying to portray Damond as this person that she really wasn't, and he was trying to find an excuse to just make sure that things don't work out between them. We already know from a one-on-one interview that Damond had done prior to coming to this conversation that she did love Carlton, and she was hoping that they were going to work things through and everything was going to be okay for them. But it seemed like Carlton was hoping that they don't even resolve this issue. I don't know if you guys know this, but Carlton was in an episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, and even in that show he was calling women the B word. So I'm not sure if he really was coming on this show to find himself a wife. It just seemed to me like someone who is very comfortable to insult women, someone who is just looking for fame, you know. He's not here to find love like everybody else. And this also was proven to me during the reunion, because he said that if he knew that he would be sitting across off of people who were actually happily married from the show, he would have maybe put in a little bit of more effort. So coming to the show, he wasn't really clearly expecting much. He wasn't expecting that he was going to get a wife. The thing that made me really happy about this whole situation is Damond, who obviously knows her worth, who knows her value. And I just love the way she was shouting the Beyonce lyrics. That was quite entertaining to watch, even though, you know, it wasn't the best situation. But what I loved about Damond is that she did not accept Carlton even after he apologized. She knows her worth. She knows that this is a person who is so comfortable with disrespecting her and making her seem like someone who she's actually not. He even went to a couple of interviews and continued to portray her as a person who was biphobic, as a person who was homophobic, making her get a lot of death threats and insults that were obviously not necessary. So to me, Carlton was not, you know, someone who should have even been on the show, if you ask me. And I just hope that Damond will not give him a chance even after this, because he's apparently still trying to take her out on a date. And I just hope that he will be able to work on himself, figure out who he is, and not try to bring people into his mess. Let's now talk about Jessica and Mark. So Jessica was someone who was really hated on the show, and to be honest, I really feel bad for her. I know that she did a lot of things that were not okay on the show, but for her to receive that much hate, I just hope that she's okay and she's going to be okay. She really looked like she was going through it during that reunion, and to be honest, I just applaud her for even showing up, because if I were in her position, I would have never gone for that reunion. And then there was that whole blow up with Amber calling her fake and shysty. I mean, I just felt bad for her, because I feel like she's not the person that she was back then, and she's being judged right now because it's what we're seeing right now. I will continue to say that I obviously do not agree with the things that she was doing, but she was clearly going through a lot. She said in an interview that when they were filming, she was, you know, she had a lot of issues. Something about her dog was sick and it almost died during that time, and she was even being forced to be on the show. Yeah, she said that apparently she wanted to leave the show when they were still in Mexico, but the producers would not allow her. I don't know if that's true, but I mean, if she did go for an interview and actually reveal that information, maybe there's some truth to it. But let's talk about Mark for a minute. That's the guy who really confused me on this show, because even though he was 24, he was not acting like someone who knows who he is. Like, who would allow himself to be that disrespected and continue to put yourself in that situation and in that position continually? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Mark continued to be with Jessica even after he knew that he was Jessica's second choice. Like, why would you even do that? Why would you allow yourself to be someone's second choice? Talking about, my mom told me that if you love something, you should let it go, and if it comes back, then it was meant for you. I don't even know if that's proper advice, to be honest, because he really looked like a fool on that show, continuing to defend Jessica every single time, continuing to allow himself to be disrespected. Like I said, I remember there was that scene where Jessica even went on ahead and told him to his face that she thought Burnett was really hot and sexy and attractive, and he still continued to stay with her. At that point, I remember that day he was really upset, and I think he even slept on the couch, and I assumed that he was actually done and he was going to, leave the show. But to my surprise, he continued to put himself in that situation that was making him look like someone who doesn't know what he wants in life. Having said all that, I still feel bad for him because he was really strung along by Jessica, and I'm pretty sure he was hurt, especially watching the show when it aired, knowing that Jessica felt the way she did about him. But I mean, I still feel like he should have known better. The woman was removing her engagement ring every single day, and for like half of the time they were in Mexico, she did not even have her ring. So why were you insisting on something that was obviously never really going to work? She was always questioning the relationship because of the age gap. But I saw someone who had a very valid argument with regards to Jessica. She was the only one who was asking the right questions. And when I saw that valid argument, and I call it valid because it is valid, I completely, started to think different about Jessica. She was asking questions that we would normally ask. I mean, if I was 34 years old and I met a man who was 24, I would obviously worry about, his financial stability. I would worry about me wanting to have kids and him feeling like it's too soon for him. I mean, if you look at it realistically, she was not really on the wrong asking all those questions. And I know there's some people who will say if she was with Burnett, she would have never asked those questions, and Burnett was only 4 years older than Mark. I mean, we will never know because that didn't happen. So I just don't know how to feel about Jessica and Mark. What I do feel is that maybe they should have just gone their separate ways instead of trying to force issues and to insist on something that was never really going to work. I really hope that Mark, being the nice person, being the genuine person that he is, he will still be able to find love. Same as Jessica, even though people are saying that she will probably not find love. I really hope she does. I'm pretty sure she's learned from her mistakes and she's working on being a better version of herself, like we all are anyways. Let's just talk about Burnett and Amber for a second because I have some thoughts. I was really surprised that Burnett actually said yes to Amber even after she had revealed that she had this huge amount of debt from her student loans for a degree that she did not even finish. And then she also did say that she had maxed out her credit card, which had a limit of $700 on makeup. She then goes ahead to tell Burnett that they will need to get a loan and get a bigger house. Like, please just make it make sense for me. Why do you want to burden this man with another loan when you're already not bringing anything to the table? In fact, what you're doing is you're just being a burden to this man. You're going to make him pay off your loans when you're just sitting at home and watching TV instead of getting a job so that you pay your loans yourself. I really wasn't impressed by that at all because I don't believe that you should just allow yourself to be financially dependent on a man even when you don't have to. You have the ability to go out and work and you just choose not to, and you don't even show any interest. And she did mention that she will get a job but she never keeps the job. I mean, you can do so much better, Amber. And Burnett, kudos to you, because you really knew all of this and you decided to say yes to her. I actually did not believe that Burnett really loved Amber, but now I kind of do, because he really did take up a huge responsibility on himself. Then at the reunion, we had Amber come on to the reunion and say that they almost broke up with Burnett because she was too financially dependent on him. I mean, what did you expect? You came on here, you were unemployed, you had all those loans that you're not even making an effort to pay for, and then you just made it very clear to us that you wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, even though it doesn't seem like you really do want to be a stay-at-home mom. It just looks like you want to just chill at home and watch Netflix and not even do the job that a stay-at-home mom would normally do, which is a lot of work. I'm not even dismissing being a stay-at-home mom, because it's legit a lot of work. But for Amber, I just did not feel like she was being genuine about being a stay-at-home mom. She just seemed like she wanted to stay at home, watch Netflix, and wait on Burnett's check so that she can spend it all on makeup. Please don't get me wrong, I am not hating on Amber at all. I just didn't think that was right on any level. And like I said, all the best to Burnett, because that's a huge responsibility. He really must love Amber to have done all of that for her. The last couple that I want to talk about in depth are my favorite people, Cameron and Lauren. The moment I saw Lauren, I just thought she was super gorgeous. She was really captivating, in the words of Damien, was it? I just thought she had an amazing personality. She was goofy, she was interesting to listen to, she was just a sweet person. She has her career going for her. I love that. And then we have this amazing man, Cameron, who is now obsessed with Lauren, especially after seeing her. I remember he just kept on saying that he will take care of her, he will never let her go. He just seems like such a genuine person, like a sweet person, and I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy that they found each other, that they found love. I'm glad that, you know, 1.5 years later they're still in love, just as they were on the show. I can never have anything negative to say about Lauren and Cameron. They have been said to be America's favorite couple. I don't know about that, but yeah, I just love them. There were other couples on the show. There was Giannina and Damien, and then there was Kenny and Kelly. I don't have much to say about those guys. I just know, like, we now know that Damien and Gigi found each other. They decided that they were going to continue dating even after they did not get married on the show. So I mean, that's really good for them. I'm glad they were able to work things out. And then we have Kenny and Kelly, who didn't get married and are not together. Kenny is now dating, Kelly is single. But here's the thing about Kenny and Kelly. So during the reunion, we found out that Kenny and Kelly had both decided that they were going to say no at the altar. So why did Kenny say yes and put Kelly in this really bad situation, making her out to be the villain in this whole situation because she said no? When I learned that, I felt some type of way about Kenny. And you know, initially I was team Kenny. I was like, you know, Kelly has really messed up. Why would she let go of a good guy like Kenny? And he is a good guy. I still believe he's a good guy, but that made me question if he's a really genuine person, you know, because why put the girl in that tough situation in the first place? I understand that maybe he thought Kelly had had a change of heart, but regardless, he really made Kelly seem like a person who broke his heart and embarrassed him, even though they had this mutual agreement. It was also revealed that they had agreed that they were going to continue dating after the show, but after Kelly had said no, then Kenny said that he was emotionally unavailable for her, but then went ahead and started dating someone different a few weeks down the line, a month down the line, I don't know. So that kind of also explains why Kelly seemed so defeated during the reunion. She seemed really sad. She was crying uncontrollably, almost not even able to speak. All in all, I hope that Kelly will also find someone who will love her and appreciate her. as Kenny has gone out and done. So that's all I have to say about Love is Blind. If you've watched the show, I'd like to know what you thought about the show. Comment in the comment section down below and just give me your thoughts about the different people and the show in general. Don't forget to, of course, like, share and subscribe. That's all I have for you guys for today. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.